Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Military History Chronicles. Hopefully you guys are having a great Saturday night. 8 o'clock over here in the Pacific. I see Aaron and Andrew. Clarence Beeks was second, and the good Jim Everett the Great was first. All right. Hey guys, how's it going? Hopefully everyone had a great Saturday. Beautiful over here in Northern California. I think it hit 70 degrees. Beautiful day, man. Wow. Feels like spring already, and here it is. Only February 24th. It's incredible. Wow. Today, gonna get back into a little bit of Civil War stuff. You guys know how much I like the Civil War. Absolutely love talking about the Civil War. Another exciting day today, too. Real quick, got to get on here. 71 in Clovis. There you go, Nick. Yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Can't ask for a better February day. But February. It's crazy. First day of spring training for the San Francisco Giants. I can't even remember. I turned it off after it was 4-0. I let it go for a little while. But gotta love it when spring training games start. We'll see how everything progresses with that. You know, you could catch me on NorCal Sports Network, and we'll break that down on Monday night on how this weekend went. All right. Anyways, Civil War. As the title showed, I call it the Roaring 1850s. You know, I think that's a famous line. Isn't it the Roaring 20s? If I'm not mistaken, the 1920s. But I'm calling it the Roaring 1850s because of everything that happened. As a matter of fact, it happened probably from mid 1850 all the way to the very end. A lot of events happened that kind of led up to the war. Oh, the American Civil War, which began in 1861. Yes, the Roaring 20s, exactly. But I could have, will be maybe, and I sent him the link. He may come in here a little bit later. I don't know if he's busy or not. The warring works too. Yes, Aaron. Yeah, it's a good point. I'm factoring on 4 factors here. I could talk about the election of Abraham Lincoln, but I think that deserves a show all in itself. So I'm just kind of sticking what happened prior to 1860, which really culminated into the Civil War. And there's 4 factors. First one being, I'm just going to list them real quick. Bleeding Kansas. We'll get into it a little bit later, but there was a dispute over Kansas on whether or not that the state was going to be free or if it was going to consist of slavery, and we'll get into it a little bit. After that, you had the famous caning of Senator Sumner. We'll get into that. That was pretty intense. On the Senate floor, another senator decided to take his cane and beat the living crap out of Senator Sumner after remarks that he said about this other senator's cousin. So yeah, that was interesting. That kind of got things going. And then you had probably the worst Supreme Court ruling ever, the Dred Scott decision. We'll get into that. That had to do with a former slave, whether or not he had rights as a citizen. That decision was just incredible. Good old Justice Robert Taney. Abraham Lincoln couldn't stand him. Even when Lincoln got inaugurated, he didn't do anything that Taney asked him to do. He totally ignored the Supreme Justice. But like I said, talking about Lincoln my gosh, we could do numerous shows just on President Lincoln's term as president, even prior. And then lastly, the good old John Brown raid at Harper's Ferry. That was kind of the culmination. I think that was, quote unquote, well, maybe not the last straw, but it was damn close to the last straw for the South to say, you know what? We don't want nothing of the North have anything to do with this. They're trying to take away our quote unquote property. They didn't want their peculiar institution, is what they called it, which was slavery. They didn't want that interfered with. And they thought there was going to be a huge insurrection, as a matter of fact, in the South because of that John Brown raid. And then that's the last topic that we're going to hit. And of course, once Abraham Lincoln got elected in 1860, then, that's when the South had it. And they said, okay, a month later, after the election South Carolina was already seceding from the Union. But yeah, let's get to the first one. Bleeding Kansas. Here, let me go ahead and bring this up. Some of these, the links that I got are fantastic from American Battlefield Trust. Guys, I recommend you guys, if you like Civil War, if you like Revolutionary War, Civil War, and the War of 1812, they're really good with Civil War stuff, though. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's absolutely fantastic. Great information. Great information. And you could get all this information too. I'm just going to read it. I know quite a bit about it, but I just want to read it just so you can see what's going on here. So what happened is, here we go. Let me zoom that in a little bit more. In May of 1854, Congress passed the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which formally organized the territory west of Missouri and Iowa, also known as Kansas and Nebraska, and opened up the space to settlers. Okay, real quick. Remember, I don't know. I've talked about this before. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. Any Civil War movie recommendations? Oh, you got to go. Tony, you got to go watch Glory. Glory is fantastic. It's a story about the 54th Massachusetts. It's a all black regiment. Fantastic movie. Not a movie, but it was made for TV. Of course, Gettysburg. Gods and Generals. Those kind of go hand in hand. Those are fantastic. I love listening to those. I'm trying to think of what other Civil War movie. Guys, I'm not sure. Oh, see? That sucks, Jim. I'm kind of, guys, this, I divert. It's easy for me to go off track. I'll get back on track though, I promise. It does make a difference on who's teaching the course. If you got someone that's just monotone and dry and doesn't seem interested in the subject, forget about it. You're going to lose people. You really are. You got to be engaging. You got to act like you enjoy what you're doing. But if you're just there to collect a paycheck and, just to deliver, a syllabus, well, then you're not going to get much out of it. It kind of sucks. That sucks. Before in the previous episodes I talked about the Missouri Compromise. Remember 1820? That anything above that certain, I can't remember what the latitude, longitude was, but anything above basically Missouri. Anything above Missouri was going to enter the Union as a free state. In other words, no slavery. Okay. But in the meantime, you had good old Senator, Stephen Douglas. They called him the Little Giant. They passed this, I can't remember as a law, but it was something called popular sovereignty. Okay. And the deal with popular sovereignty was he wanted to leave it up to the individuals of each respective state to determine whether or not they wanted to be a free state or a slave state. And these are these are new states coming into the Union, not the ones already established. So they would vote on whether or not they wanted to, be free or slave state. Problem is, when you leave it to popular sovereignty, shenanigans started taking place. The pro-slavery faction started sending people into Kansas to vote for what? Of course, slavery. Anti-slavery people started sending people into Kansas, of course, to vote for anti-slavery type of state. What's up, Chardol? And all this came to a head at what they call Bleeding Kansas. Okay, so here we go. In a departure from previous territorial and state organization bills, Congress did not explicitly designate these territories to be either free or enslaved. Rather, the Kansas-Nebraska Act adhered to popular sovereignty. Right there. Again, championed by Mr. Stephen Douglas. A principle where the people residing in Kansas and Nebraska would determine if the territory shall be free or enslaved either by a popular referendum or through the election of a pro-slavery or anti-slavery representatives to draft a constitution. Consequently, free state and slave state proponents rushed to Kansas. Again, at this time, Kansas consisted of both what is today Kansas and Nebraska, to try and stake their claim in their efforts to either legalize or legalize or prohibit slavery there. There was not the same flurry in Nebraska, as it was largely assumed that it would become a free state without much debate. However, Kansas was a different story, located directly west of Missouri under the Missouri Compromise. Oh, no one hit it. Slavery would be beheaded into Kansas territory. However, the passage of this act, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, again, championed by the little giant Stephen Douglas, opened up the possibility for slavery to exist in this territory, and many Southerners remain committed to take advantage of this opportunity and make Kansas a slave state. Here we got a photo. 2 unidentified pro-slavery activists in Missouri who crossed into Kansas territory to promote slavery. There you go. Look at those. Look at those duds. Okay, so let's get back into this. So now you kind of got the stage is set. The stage is set. Okay, Glorious free on Tubi with that. Okay, there you go. Exactly, there you go. You could go on Amazon Prime. I know sometimes it will be free on there as well. Great movie. What's up, Benji? What's up, man? We haven't seen you in a while. We are a little bit worried. Hopefully everything's good with you. Yes, Nick. Election interference by bad people all the way back to the 1850s. Look, guys, this isn't new. Okay. This is something that has been part of, and you're going to make me divert, but that's okay. I think every nation's probably had a certain issue with quote unquote integrity of their voting system, I guess. Of course, there's shenanigans going on in other issues. We can't ignore that, right? But I mean, I don't know, man. It's how do you attack it? I don't know. That's the problem with the democracy. No, it's all good, Nick. That's the problem with democracy, especially a Republican type of democracy. It's hard, right? It's a hard system. It takes a lot of work. And the problem is when people start, quote unquote, falling asleep at the wheel, you know, you're gonna be in for a rough ride. It's not going to work out very well. So, you know, our history is littered with this type of stuff, guys. And look, I'm not sitting here saying that, you know, every aspect of our country is bad, because it's not. There's good, but there is also bad. You just got to learn about it. And when you learn about this stuff, you know, maybe there's a possibility if people learn about this stuff and are interested in it, it may not happen again. Maybe they go, hey, you know what? I think I've heard this somewhere before, and I don't like the outcome of what happened. And maybe you can invoke change. That's possible, right? We're in the greatest country in the United States, or in the United. We're in the greatest country in the world, right? Do we have our flaws? Absolutely. Absolutely. But yes, this happened in the 1850s, right? Because again, the biggest issue back then was the South had a big issue on states entering the Union under the basis of anti-slavery, where there could be no slavery. They thought that their quote unquote way of life was being attacked. They didn't look at slaves as a normal human being as we look at people today. They looked at it as property. They didn't look as blacks as being quote unquote citizens. I mean, yeah, they looked at them as people, but it was more, they looked at them more as cattle, right? To do their labor. And they felt that was being attacked. So they were doing everything they could to try to prevent that. Because what happened was back during that time, especially in the Senate, the slave states had a majority in the Senate. So trying to pass any type of laws that deemed them encroaching on their right to their property, they would put the kibosh on it. Perfect example, the Transcontinental Railroad. That was in debate years before Lincoln was able to get it through, because he was able to get it through because the states that were preventing that seceded from the Union, and they were able to pass it and build the transcontinental. But the argument was the South wanted the railroad to go from the southern route. Of course, the North wanted a route from the north, which eventually happened. Went from Chicago all the way to Sacramento. But so that was the issue. And they knew if more free states were entered into the Union, that they would lose that control. And then all of a sudden, their way of life is now in jeopardy. So this is what happened. You got Kansas now under the Kansas-Nebraska Act. So here you got, they're going to try to subvert the vote to either, like I said, hey, what's up? Yeah, I don't know where Will be. I sent him the link. Maybe he might be busy. No worries. He might pop in. What's up, Matt, by the way? Thanks for joining. So you got both factions flooding into Kansas to try to manipulate either their referendum or their constitution. And matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was a bunch of referendums and constitutions that were being passed. I think it went up and they were like, I can't remember, and they might talk about it here in the article, but numerous passes of the Constitution went up to the federal government, and they said, nope, you got to redo it again because we sense some kind of impropriety. Imagine that. A lot of these politicians still look at us as people as their cattle. Got a point there. Not going to disagree on both sides of the aisle. Both sides of the aisle. Can't ignore that. We'll be always stand up and together against the corrupt system. Yeah. Absolutely. But you know what? Long as people have the knowledge and understand what they're fighting against, that's what you need. You need a nuanced approach, right? You just can't come off looking like a freaking maniac. You got to have a nuanced approach and say, you know what? I've had enough. This is what we want. Hey, speaking of the devil, look who just showed up. What's up, Will?
Yo, what's cracking, man?
How's it going, man?
Happy weekend.
Hey, same to you, man. Jim says, Will B's always making me hungry talking about food.
Well, speaking of which, I got a cowboy ribeye sitting over there getting ready to be on the grill here in another hour or two.
Oh, what are you marinating it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's going to be good.
Is that secret sauce or is it just whatever?
No, so, man, I found these little marinate in the bag things over at Walmart. They're like made from the Kraft company. Okay. They're really freaking good, man.
Nice.
Kraft of all things.
And you said it's a T-bone?
Yeah, it's a cowboy ribeye, so it's a big old bone and ribeye. That thing's about 2.25 pounds. I'm not gonna be able to eat it.
Kind of like the New York strip. I like ribeyes, but I had a New York strip about a few weeks ago, and boy, that turned out.
I am a huge New York strip fan. I like the New York strip better than ribeyes personally.
I like it less gristle. I hate gristle, dude.
I hate eating around. Yeah, I get you.
Oh, I can't do it. I'll trim the edges, and then I'm
I do that. Yeah. I got you, Jim.
I just had some street tacos from down the street every weekend. They have a pop-up tent. Fantastic.
Nice.
Put some cilantro and onion on it. Carne asada. Woo!
Oh man, that's
Aaron Las filet mignon. You know who does that? Dan. Good old Dan Coach Emilio. He loves his filet mignons.
I can't eat that stuff, man.
No, I've never had a filet myself.
I can't eat a filet mignon. It's not beefy enough for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah, the carne. Oof. Real quick, I'm talking about Bleeding Kansas right now. I don't know if you know exactly where I'm going. There's 4 events, Will, that I'm talking about prior to 1860 that had a pretty big impact on the outbreak of Civil War.
Yeah, first one, slavery movement.
Yeah, Bleeding Kansas. Then I got the caning of Sumner, Senator Sumner.
Oh yeah, he got his ass kicked.
He got his ass kicked. He did. He was almost killed.
Yeah, he was.
The Dred Scott decision by the Supreme Court, and then finally, good old John Brown and his raid on Harper's Ferry.
The old build-up.
Yeah, these were like boom, 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 and of course, the culmination of Lincoln being elected. Then it's game on as far as the Civil War is concerned.
Right.
But I'm talking about because what happened in Bleeding Tech? Do you know Bleeding Texas? Do you know about Bleeding Kansas much? A little bit.
Vaguely. I remember in my advanced history classes in college talking about it. But
You remember how we talked about the Missouri Compromise? How
it was very similar to that.
Remember how it was any state coming into the union after the Missouri above the Missouri border was going to come in free,
right?
But then they passed this Kansas-Nebraska Act, which kind of did away with the Missouri Compromise, and they introduced what they called popular sovereignty. And again, I'm going to say it again, championed by Stephen Douglas, known as the Little Giant.
The Little Giant.
But because of that popular sovereignty, what it is it was each state coming into the union would vote on whether they wanted that state to be free or slave.
That's right.
So what happened was all the pro-slavery started flooding the state with a bunch of pro-slavery guys.
Right, yeah.
Anti-slavery started flooding the state with a bunch of anti-slavery. And take a guess at what happened.
Well, it's kind of like flooding the states with full Democrats that they're doing right now. Oh, wait.
Here we go. Here we go. But yeah. So here we go. Most of the settlers who first moved to Kansas after the land went on sale were small Midwestern farmers and non-slave holders from the Upper South. And both groups had little interest in slavery's extension. You know what? That is another topic we could talk about too. There were a lot of people in quote unquote Confederate states that were anti-slavery. Parts of North Carolina, parts of Virginia. I mean, West Virginia was born because they were against slavery. They didn't want to have anything to do with slavery.
Right.
The northern part of Georgia, the eastern part of Tennessee, there was a lot of Confederate state regions that were anti-slavery because it was it was the plantation owners, were looked down upon these people, as quote unquote dirt farmers.
What was the demographics of those regions like?
They were very pro-union, but anti-slavery. You know what I'm saying? It was very unique. But because majority of the state was, anti-union, they were able to get enough votes to. As a matter of fact, Virginia. You know how many votes it took for Virginia to secede from the Union? It was a lot. I mean, they were close to coming into the Union. I mean, it's just the way it was, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, we would have Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, you know what? And then what would have happened? Grant would have never probably came to his. Yeah, the whole what ifs
campaign. The Vicksburg campaign probably would never happen. Or maybe it would have. Maybe sooner.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Good point. That's a good subject to take as the whole what if stuff. But look at it. Here we go. Small with non-slave holders except for the Upper South, and both groups had little interest in slavery's extension. While there are a few slave-owning settlers, pro-slavery proponents were determined to legalize slavery in Kansas. So on March 30th, 1855, hundreds of heavily armed Missourians poured over the border, exploited the loophole as to what constituted residency in Kansas, and voted in their first territorial election. Not only did they illegally cast their vote or their own ballots, but those border ruffians also stuffed the ballot box with hundreds of fictitious ballots. Look at that, 1855. Okay. Oh, consequently, a high majority of pro-slavery men were voted into territorial legislature because who votes on the Constitution? The legislature. Okay.
Right.
The territorial legislature immediately passed draconian pro-slavery laws, including a law that stipulated that the possession of abolitionist literature to be a capital offense. Ooh, here we go. In response, the anti-slavery men formed their own government in Lawrence, Kansas. Okay, listen to this, guys, real quick. Lawrence, Kansas is going to play a factor in the very last factor that I'm going to talk about. John Brown is involved in this. You'll see it here in a minute. Nick. Dylan. What's up, Dylan?
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Dylan. All right. What's up, Ron?
Yeah, they did run. They sure so did.
How many runs did they wind up scoring today?
Was it 4 or something?
How many did Cubs score?
Like 9.
Oh, whatever. Hey, Birdsong looked okay. Okay, you guys are messing with me. All right, where are we going? Where was I? Okay, here we go. So the Pierce administration denounced as illegitimate and an outlaw regime. With this split between pro-slavery government and anti-slavery government, it was only a matter of time before violent clashes broke out. Hence, Bleeding Kansas. That happened forever. I mean, it lasted for a long time. The fight that happened in Kansas. Yeah. Here, let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, they destroyed a printing press. Watch, let's see if he's in here. Here we go. The most horrific incident occurred in May of 1856 when one night, abolitionist fanatic. Okay, does everyone understand what abolitionist is? Here, let me just make sure I'm not saying you guys don't know. I'm just going to. Abolitionists were for the elimination of slavery. Okay, they wanted nothing to do with slavery. And there was people who were anti-slavery, and then you had people who were abolitionists. Okay, abolitionists were a little bit more extreme. But he was an abolitionist fanatic. John Brown and his sons forced 5 Southerners from their homes along the Pottawatomie Creek and murdered them in cold blood. The dude was a staunch anti-slavery abolitionist. Big time. And if I'm not mistaken, they didn't go into it, but the way they killed those 5 men were with broadswords. Broadswords they used. Yes.
Could you imagine?
Broadswords.
Some dude coming at you with a big old sword, man. Hey, this guy.
Exactly. Now, remember, John Brown is going to come back into the picture. This is 1856. So anywhere where, slavery was to be stamped out, you could find John Brown somewhere close by.
He was today we would call a radical. I mean, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, hold on one second. I'm gonna take off.
Especially when he went to Harper's Ferry.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I saw that 2D shot. They had nothing going at all, man. Oh God, we're so screwed.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Eric and Wilby, did you guys read the story today before Soler Faron tried to sign JD? Yeah, I saw that, and I saw there were some discussions happening on Twitter. People saying we got the better player, and I had to say, guys, I don't know if you really are you sure? So I had to put. The comparison. JD Davis is a better player. He is. If you're just going to use him as a DH, which you're going to do with Soler, he's got better numbers. I mean, he just does. He's older. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, he's about my age, and he wants a ring. There's no point coming to San Francisco.
But people weren't even arguing that point. You know what they're arguing? Oh, MAGA guy. He's a MAGA guy.
Oh, okay, that's what it's about then.
Yeah, they made it something other than what is behind his baseball.
So silly.
Stupid. All right. Anyways, so that was Bleeding Kansas, guys. Okay, this happened in 1854. Well, the Kansas-Nebraska Act was passed in 1854, but shit started hitting the fan in 1855. Okay. That's when, as they said, when all these people when the state was being flooded with opposing sides, it broke out into war. And boy, there was a lot of fighting happening out there in Kansas. And again, like I said, this is one of the first steps onto the Civil War. The second one. Here we go. This has got some small font, but
you don't got to tell us that, Jim. We've already threw in the towel. The towel's been thrown in for a while.
Come on, what's going on here? There we go. What's going on? What I miss? Giants are finished throwing the towel. Yeah, look at that. We're already talking about it. God. Ramos got hit in the foot today, but I guess he turned out all right, or I think in the knee.
Yeah.
Damn it. No Soler, Bleeding Kansas. Well, it was pretty good. First game of towel thrown.
Well, I mean,
all right, here we go.
It goes beyond that, though. It goes before all that. So, anyway, not to go off topic.
No worries. All right, here we go. The good old caning. The caning of Senator Charles Sumner.
I wish we had this kind of stuff going on right now. I mean,
this is crazy. You think there's disorder? You think there's disorder? You should have seen. Look at this. We're talking about both in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. After this incident, people started carrying guns into the chambers. You want to talk about mayhem? Whew. Incredible. All right, here we go.
What was the master of was there a master of arms for the Senate this time, or was that just?
I think so, but what are you going to do when everyone's bringing?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna stand by and watch, man.
There you go, buddy. I ain't getting involved in this. Not when there's going to be a crossfire. All right, on May 22nd, 1856, the world's greatest deliberative body became a combat zone. In one of the most dramatic, deeply ominous events in the Senate's entire history, a member of the House of Representatives, that's what it was, entered the Senate chamber and savagely beat a senator into unconsciousness. The inspiration for this clash came 3 days earlier when Senator Charles Sumner of Massachusetts, anti-slavery Republican, addressed the Senate on the explosive issue on whether Kansas should be admitted into the Union as a slave or free state. So imagine this. You see what's going on here? A lot of things are kind of in hand.
Right.
You got bleeding Kansas, which led to the caning of Charles Sumner, which eventually led to the events of John Brown in Harper's Ferry. It's kind of unique how all that worked out. But what did it all base around? And same thing with the Dred Scott. They were connected, but it all was based on slavery.
Right.
That's what it was on. In his Crime Against Kansas speech, Sumner identified 2 Democratic senators as the principal culprits in this crime: Stephen Douglas of Illinois, the little giant, and Andrew Butler of South Carolina. This is the cousin of this senator, is the one who took apart the act of caning Sumner. He characterized Douglas to his face as a noisome, squat, and nameless animal. Not a proper model for an American senator. Andrew Butler, who was not present, received more elaborate treatment, mocking the South Carolina senator's stance as a man of chivalry. The Massachusetts senator charged him with taking a mistress who, though ugly to others, is always lovely to him. Though polluted in the sight of the world, is chaste in his sight. I mean, added Sumner, the harlot slavery. Oh, man. Okay. Back in those days, even today, think about it. Those were some strong words right there.
Oh, man.
Those are some strong, basically accusing him of having a mistress, and then and he's also he also has another mistress that is quote unquote slavery. Yeah, those were back then. I mean, it was even more so. I guess you could probably say it was back then, but even in the 18th century, when you attack a man's honor,
oh, that's fighting words.
You could die over that. You could die. I mean, that's just the way it was back then. It's not necessarily that way today. I mean, there may be some people that do that, but man, you want to talk about whoo. Moving quickly, Brooks slammed his metal top cane on. Oh, whoa. Hold on. I messed up. Representative Preston Brooks, who was Butler, South Carolina's kinsman, I think he was a cousin. If he had believed Sumner to be a gentleman, he might have challenged him to a duel. There. Instead, he chose a light cane of the type used to discipline unruly dogs.
Just went to town, man.
Shortly after the Senate had adjourned, Brooks entered the old chamber, where he found Sumner busily attaching his postal frank to copies of his Crimes Against Kansas speech. Moving quickly, Brooks slammed his metal top cane onto the unsuspecting Sumner's head. As Brooks struck again and again, Sumner rose and lurched blindly about the chamber, futilely attempting to protect himself. After a very long minute, it ended. Bleeding profusely, Sumner was carried away. Brooks walked calmly out of the chamber without being detained by stunned onlookers. Overnight, both men became heroes. Okay. There's a backstory too. People from the South started sending Brooks a bunch of canes. in support of him, is kind of like, oh yeah, here you go. But again, this riled the rivalry between anti-slavery faction and the slavery faction. And here's another thing. This is very important, especially in American Civil War. Civil War wasn't about Republican and Democrat, or I guess you could say it's North and South. I mean, you could even take that with not a grain of salt, but it's even, you could kind of argue that, because remember I said there's parts of the Confederacy that were very pro-union. It was sectional in the fact that it was more pro-slavery, anti-slavery. That's what this is all based about. Not necessarily political. It wasn't necessarily political. It was all about slavery at that time. And as I discussed earlier, the South, that was their labor. That was their property, and they didn't want anything to affect that. I'm not here. Please don't think that I'm justifying. I'm just giving you the lowdown of what the mindset was back then in the South and the North. So again, this is rising tension. You got Bleeding Kansas, which is taking place. People are dying over there because of slavery. Now you got a senator who's making fun of another senator. So much so that the offending senator cousin or kinsman decides to take matters into his own hand and beat the living crap out of said senator. So yeah, it's it's very interesting in how this all is playing out. All right, what do we got here? Oh, are you guys talking about the Who?
Well, Klaus Schwab, man.
You're not talking about the band either, are you?
No, really, really wish so, but no.
Nick, good question. Was it 100% about slavery? Yep, it was.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
It was Nick. Careful. Yeah, I understand. People talk about states' rights. They talk about the federal government impeding on another state and stuff, and you'll hear that argument a lot. But it came down 100% to slavery. Period. End of story. Because it was the South's way of life. They how it was back then. All right. People were very particular about their property, as people should be, right? People were very conscientious about their property. And the only way the South was able to, quote unquote, make a buck was by their crop. And of course, the main staple being cotton. Of course, you still had sugar and you had tobacco, but cotton was you hear that if you read a lot of Civil War literature, they call it King Cotton, because that's what sustained the South.
Well, I mean,
the South.
It almost bought them an ally, the British.
Yep.
I mean, that's how important it was.
But the British and the French would have never came to the Confederacy's aid.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, and I'll tell you why. Because it wasn't that long, a couple of decades before. Well, we'll say 5 decades before, half a century. They banned the institution of slavery.
Right, they banned slavery.
And at that time, their public was dead set against slavery. And there's no way that the British government could justify backing a country that is its sole source of labor is slavery. There's no way it would have happened.
Yeah,
no way.
I mean,
now, would they have still attacked the North just to weaken it? Absolutely. But are they going to do anything with the Confederacy? That's hard to tell. I mean, again, that's speculative. You just got to go by what was prevalent at that time.
I mean, at that time, they were still using people in Africa and India to build the railways.
Matter of fact, it was all
Singapore.
Right, and the thing is at that time, the South were still bringing in slaves because the slave trade had shut down. It was banned by that time, but they had quote unquote, I guess you want to say black market ships still bringing in slaves. I mean, it was just. There was no way the South was going to give up slavery. And they did everything they could to try to prolong that quote unquote peculiar institution, as they call it.
Right, and that's why a lot of them fled to countries like Belize afterwards, so they could maintain it there.
Right, and in matter of fact, if you look in prior to antebellum, which is prior Civil War history, there were what the heck happened? How does there only one people? Did we didn't drop off, did we?
I don't think so.
Wow, we got one person in here. All of a sudden, it just dropped off.
Maybe we had a little timeout or something.
Wow, I don't think so. I think we're still here. That's weird. Oh, okay, Mark's is there. Mark's there. Wow, all of a sudden, everyone just dropped off. Maybe because I'm talking about, or maybe YouTube doesn't like me talking about. No, I'm not talking about anything bad. But anyways, I'm the only one here. That was weird. There's D-Shot. Okay,
yeah, I don't think it's accurate. I think maybe some YouTube's having a little glitch.
The hell was that all about? That was weird. But
okay, Ron, I'll do that.
Okay. Oh, you're talking to Ron. Cool. You hit a chord. I know. What the heck? That was weird. I just took a look at it. I was like, what the hell? There's only one person in here. But yeah, the South tried to do everything. They tried to go into South America and tried to appropriate property for the United States. They had plans of maybe taking over Cuba to make it a state. As I said, the westward expansion of the United States, they wanted those states to come in as slave states. They did everything they could to try to hold on to their quote unquote property. So yes, it was 100% based on slavery. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it has it's festered. I'm kind of just talking about what happened in the mid 1850s. But if you read some of the stuff written by the Civil War, you could go back to, you could even go back to the founding of the nation.
Oh, the argument goes back way beyond this.
Oh yeah.
and
it was sectional. It was
right.
It was people who were, I'm not going to say South were not pro-business. It was but they were against industry, right? It was all about them. It was just a different way of life in the South. Yeah. And part of that being, it was slavery.
And they don't want to give it up. I mean, it makes sense. It made them a lot of money. I mean, that was pretty much the only economy they knew. That was the only way to go about it, really.
And it's funny, in the research that I did for my master's thesis, what state was the first to abolish slavery?
Did anybody come out and outright abolish it? I don't think anybody did.
I don't think anyone abolished. I think if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't until the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery.
Right.
No state, quote unquote, abolished slavery. Now, the northern states, none of them partook in slavery, but there wasn't, quote unquote, an abolishment of it. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, probably a lot more.
When I was doing research, you were talking about how, they just wanted to focus on plantation type crops. And doing the research on my paper is the South, there was a lot of people. There were actually, no, I shouldn't say, there was two guys that I focused on. God, what the heck was their name? And I can't remember off the top of my head. But they wanted the South to industrialize because they understood that if they wanted to be taken seriously, that they had to be able to have industry to produce the same things that were being produced in the North, such as, steel and iron and that's being able to take advantage of that stuff.
In the North, you had Vanderbilt, so you had Carnegie, you had, those guys sometimes came afterwards, but you had all the industries there. Mm-hmm. Whereas the South was kind of more like, okay, we're going to do pepper crops. We're going to do.
It was more traditional.
Traditional.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Working with the earth. They really took pride in working with the earth.
Right. Right.
But the funny thing is, those plantation owners never worked. It was the slaves. And here's the thing: is the plantation owners, they were afraid because what happens is, in order to have that type of industry, you have to have an education. And the last thing they wanted to do was educate the Black population, because then it could give them ideas. You don't want to give the slaves ideas.
Oh no.
Perfect example. Nat Turner. You guys ever heard of Nat Turner?
Oh yeah.
Nat Turner. They had an uprising in the South where they killed a bunch of bunch of white people there were a bunch of blacks killed a bunch of white people to obtain their freedom, but they were brutal. And what happened is it scared the living bejesus out of the South. And they really got harsh with their slaves after that because they thought there was going to be some type of rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys want to look it up, NAP, N-A-P, Nat Turner Rebellion, I think it's called. I'll type it in there. There we go. There it is. Nat Turner Rebellion. That's very interesting. Like I said, it scared a lot of the white people. It scared them. They thought, and then they got the same amount of fear when John Brown came on the scene in 1859. But there you go. That was the caning of Charles Sumner. Again, based on slavery. The next one, probably this has got to be the worst decision ever made by the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just...
You're 3/5 human.
It's like, what? Yeah. How could you...
Okay.
So here we go. Let's get into this. Well, here we go. There's Taney is on the left and Dred Scott is on the right there. Here you go. 1846, an enslaved man in St. Louis asked to purchase his freedom from his master, which that happened a lot back then. Should I say a lot? That was something that happened.
Yeah.
Blacks could actually pay for the freedom if the master approved it. When she refused, the chain of events that followed would forever alter the course of events in the United States. It's a great backstory. Dred Scott was born into slavery around 1799. He was enslaved by multiple owners, one of whom was an army doctor named John Emerson, who brought him to different posts in Illinois and the Wisconsin Territory. Illinois, here we go. We talked about this before too. The Illinois was a free state as decreed by the 1787 Northwest Ordinance. Again, guys, this was another piece of legislation that was passed all the way back in 1787. That any of the new states coming into the Northwest, because that's where the new states are coming in from, any new state that was going to enter the Union would be free. All right. This is back in 1787, guys. This is when the Constitution was ratified in 1787.
Mm-hmm.
So they were on the road to try to get rid of the slavery institution. They tried. Okay. So here it is. We've talked about this before. We've talked about the 1787 Northwest Ordinance, and we've also talked about the 1820 Missouri Compromise. The Wisconsin Territory was free because of the Missouri Compromise of 1820. Well, there you go. You got both of them, which banned slavery north of the 3630 latitude line. There you go. There's the latitude line. Scott's prolonged stays in free territory would have given him legal standing to sue for freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But for unknown reasons, he chose not to do so.
Well, was he going to win?
Yeah. I think he probably knew that.
He kind of figured it out.
Yeah. During Scott's residence in Wisconsin, he met Harriet Robinson, an enslaved woman who he married and with whom he had 2 daughters. The Scotts were then forced to return to St. Louis by their owner, where they remained until their master died in 1843. 3 years later, Scott appealed to his master's widow, Irene Sanford, and offered to pay $300 for his freedom. She refused, leading Scott to turn to the courts. Harriet played a large role in convincing her husband to sue for freedom, as she feared that their daughters would be sold away from them. Her church connections led her to their first lawyer. He, as well as Harriet, sued for freedom on the grounds that they had both spent significant time in free territory and were thus being illegally held as slaves. This is based upon the 1824 Missouri precedent known as once free, always free. I never knew about that one. The Scotts case would be combined into one, with Dred being listed as the sole plaintiff. The St. Louis Circuit Court ruled against the Scotts based on a technicality where the court couldn't prove his ownership. However, the Missouri Supreme Court ordered the circuit to take up the case again, where it did 3 years later. The court reversed its decision, ruling that the Scots had been held illegally as slaves and were thus free. The Scots were free for 2 years when the Missouri Supreme Court struck down the lower court's ruling after Sanford appealed the decision. Missouri no longer had to abide by the laws of free states due to the growing abolitionist movements in those states, overturning the once free, always free precedent. Scott again sued for his freedom, this time in federal courts, but once again lost. Finally, the Scott family appealed their case to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court. Here we go. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Let's not get into this. I'm still going to see. Here we go. So when Scott's case appeared at the docket at the Supreme Court in 1857, supporters of slavery finally saw their chance to cement the institution's place in the expanding United States. 5 of the 9 justices were from the South, including Chief Justice Roger B. Taney. Taney, a former slave owner, had spent most of his time on the bench defending slavery. He believed that the institution was inextricably linked to the perpetuation of Southern life and values. See what I'm talking about? Southern life and values, which they thought was being attacked by anti-slavery factions, which he saw as increasingly under attack by Northern aggression. Oh, look at that. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Okay, where are we going here? I'm going to try to get to the right spots here. Okay, they're getting into the decisions by the justices, because the biggest person in here is going to be Taney. Interesting. Okay, guys. Hey, James McPherson, fantastic historian, Civil War historian, fantastic. He wrote an awesome 1-volume history on the Civil War. He got into pre, during, and post Civil War. Fantastic. It's called Battle Cry of Freedom. Excellent book. If you got some time, I suggest picking it up. Let's see. The Southern justices had wanted to rule on the Scott case, but did not want to do so because they didn't want the decision to be a sectional one. A purely sectional decision would only exacerbate tensions. And you know what they mean by exacerbate tensions, right? Because of what was going on in Kansas, and would limit the decision's power. The Northerners' dissension was the excuse the Southern justices needed to get a Northerner into their fold. In an egregious governmental breach of checks and balances, President James Buchanan then pressured Justice Robert Greer, a fellow Pennsylvanian, to join the Southerners in the ruling. Woo! In the end, Curtis and McLean would be the only dissenters with a 7-2 decision. So now you're getting a president to influence a justice. Here we go. This is the big thing. Taney's opinion was 55 pages long, and the majority of those pages were dedicated to answering the question of whether Scott, as an enslaved man, had the legal standing to sue in federal courts. The short answer, no. But Taney spent pages justifying the decision deeply rooted in a racist prejudices of the 19th century Southern slave owner. He uses interpretation of American history and the Constitution itself to argue that black people, whether enslaved or free, were not citizens in the eyes of the law.
Right.
And thus Scott had no standing to sue in federal courts. He said the man who wrote the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, was a slave owner, which he was. Mm-hmm. According to Taney, this meant that when Jefferson wrote that all men were created equal, he was only referring to white men. That is a huge stretch, Mr. Taney. Huge. Furthermore, when the framers wrote the Constitution, black people were not part of the citizenry to be governed by the document. The inferior status of blacks at the time of founding, Taney argued, lasted into present day. Unbelievable. But Taney asserted that Scott case was about federal citizenship, not state citizenship. By ripping away citizenship for any black people, he denied them any of the protections guaranteed by the Constitution. The right to sue in federal courts was one of them. Unbelievable.
You know, if George Washington was still around, he'd go kick somebody's ass. He spent a lot of time in the Caribbean. He had nothing but profound, great experiences. In fact, you know, he taught. And one of the recipes they used at the Valley Forge to keep the soldiers warm was called pepper pot soup, and he used that as, you know, he brought back from Jamaica to keep the soldiers warm. That's an old Jamaican, you know, dish. I mean, he had, you know, I don't know.
And if I'm not mistaken, yes, did George Washington have slaves? Yes. You know what he did when he died, though? He did release them all. He released them all.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
would
George Washington say they're not men or part of man? No,
I don't think he would say that.
He wouldn't say that 100. Not at all. Not at all.
I don't think he would say that. There was something in here that he said that was just. And then you get the president involved in this. I mean, come on. So now, hey Dan, I sent it to you. I think you got it. Oh, you did a college paper on Charles Sumner. There you go. Awesome. Interesting. Yep. Again, this just further tensions. Again, with the slavery question. Oh my gosh, hold 1 second.
I'm good.
Don't want to burp on the mic. But yeah. Man, those street tacos were delicious. So now we got this. Again, this decision was done in 1857. So now it's a further. What do you want to say? A further development in the slavery question, because with that decision, you're basically saying blacks aren't citizens and they have no rights.
You're kind of saying more than that. You're saying you're not even human.
You're not even human. You're property.
You're not called men. I mean,
right. It's just, it's like, come on. But again, it's because of his background, and he had the power to do so. He was able to come out with that decision, which was just idiotic. Right. Idiotic. I mean,
Mark has a pretty good question in here. How many of those judges had slaves that would be persuaded?
Yeah. Well, I think they said, what did they say? 5 of the justices, right? Weren't 5 of the 9 were from the South. I think there's 5 of them. I think, did they say they were slaveholding?
I believe so.
Let me go look.
Yeah.
Let me go back up and look. Where is Buchanan? Here we go. Nope, not there. Where was it? Five justices were from the South.
There you go.
They were from the South. Doesn't say they were slave owners. Some of them probably were.
Right.
And the Chief Justice, Roger Taney, was a former slave owner. So there you go. Again, it just perpetuates the issue of what was happening at the time. You know, the division between slaveholding states and non-slaveholding states. And it's beginning to crescendo, right? Keeps getting more and more intense. And the final, I'll say the straw that broke the camel's back as far as what the direction the South was going to take was good old John Brown. As you can see, I'm using a lot of American Battlefield Trust guys. Will, you know this.
Oh, man.
Fantastic.
The best content, hands down. The Civil War.
Hands down. I don't miss an episode, man. I mean, they got a YouTube channel, and then they also got a website. Their primary mission, of course, is preservation of battlegrounds or battlefields in the United States. But they get into the education part of it, and it is awesome.
Watch
Chris White.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Gary Edelman. Oh, and then the other guy. Oh man, I can't remember the third guy. I feel bad. Mikowski. I can't remember his first. I think it's Chris. I think it's Chris Mikowski, right? Yeah, Chris Mikowski. Those three guys, and then they got other people that come in there and talk, and they get experts. Fantastic, man.
Watch their staff rise. They will build the battlefield for you.
Mm.
I mean,
it's
amazing.
Yes, and you can go to they got battle maps. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that by far one of the greatest nonprofit organizations we have in this country.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, I recommend that.
They bought more land around Gettysburg too.
Yeah, they're always buying land around places.
Trying to preserve it.
You know, that's part of our history. You know, do you want a housing tract on something that was, you know, come on, you could go somewhere else and build something, you know, don't build it on top of a battlefield that was
right.
But no, don't get me wrong. All these battlefields were huge during the Civil War, and you know, they weren't little battlefield. They're huge. But yeah. Yeah, he got stuck under his desk. He really got wailed on big time. You're right. You're right, Matt.
Got cornered.
Okay, real quick. Let me get to John Brown. John Brown's Harper's Ferry raid.
The beginning of the crescendo.
Of the end. I guess, you know, it's kind of a short one here, but it kind of covers it. On the evening of October 6, 1859, John Brown, a staunch abolitionist. Remember, he killed 5 pro-slavery guys in Kansas with his sons with broadswords. And his group of his supporters left their farmhouse hideout en route to Harper's Ferry. Descending upon the town in the early hours of October 17th, Brown and his men captured prominent citizens and seized the federal armory and arsenal. Okay, Harper's Ferry was one of the key arsenals where they built all the rifles for the Union Army.
Right.
Yep. Built them all there. Brown had hopes that the local slave population would join the raid. Through the raid's success, weapons would be supplied to slaves and freedom fighters throughout the country. This was not to be.
It didn't work.
First held down by local militia in the late morning, on the 17th, Brown took refuge in Arsenal's engine house. However, the sanctuary from the firestorm did not last. When the late afternoon, U.S. Marines under Colonel Robert E. Lee arrived and stormed the engine house.
Smoke.
Did you know that? You didn't know Robert E. Lee?
I knew that, but that still blows my mind.
Yeah, I know. Killing many of the raiders and capturing Brown. Yes, a few of his sons got killed.
But you know, what even blows my mind more is the fact they were Marines.
Yeah, they were Marines.
Right.
How about that?
It's a little strange, but okay.
Brown was quickly placed on trial and charged with treason against the state of Virginia, murder, and slave insurrection. Brown was sentenced to death for his crimes and was hanged in December of 1859. Remember, this wasn't Confederate and Union. This is all Union Army, because, of course, he's violating or trespassing or committing crimes against a federal installation. You know, you just can't do that.
Right.
Oh, where is it? Let me find this real quick. Here, let me get rid of these. Ooh, maybe it's in here. Let me see. Oh, you guys know who Herman Melville is? Herman Melville, author of Moby Dick.
Yeah.
He's the author of Moby Dick. He served in the Civil War, and he was a huge author. But he was he labeled John Brown the meteor of the war between the states. The meteor. In other words, he was like the lightning rod, if you will, of the Civil War, because it was after that is when everything.
He was definitely a catalyst for sure.
100%. And then, of course, like I said, I'm not going to get into it because that's going to be its own subject. The election of Abraham Lincoln, it sealed the deal for the South.
Yep.
And war was going to be on. Let me see.
Say no to Chardol, says Jim. Oh man, they'll put that out in universe right now. ever gone to one of those Civil War reenactments? Says Aaron.
No, gosh, I want
actually,
to,
I
man.
kind of want to go. To be honest, I got a friend that does that in West Virginia. He was on the show very briefly when we first
Very
started.
briefly. Yeah, he's some internet issues, I think, right?
Yeah, well, he was working at the time too in the hospital.
Let me see.
I think that'd be kind of slick to go to. Or the guys out in Europe who do the Normandy stuff. That'd be kind of badass too.
This was his final. He had a note that he left behind before he got hung. And this is what John Brown said. I, John Brown, am now quite certain that the crimes of this guilty land will never be purged away, but with blood. I had vainly flattered myself that without very much bloodshed, it might be done. So basically, he was prophesizing
right
what was going to happen to the country. That in order to, and you know what he was talking about, the crimes of this guilty land, slavery.
Right.
And the only way slavery was going to be done away with was by bloodshed. He was hoping that with the little amount of bloodshed that he shed, that he would have been able to stop it at that time. But he realizes, nope, it's going to be something much bigger. And he was right.
Yeah.
He was right. Wow, that was fun. Got that done in an hour and 10 minutes. Not so bad. Not so bad.
Harper's Freaking Ferry. There's a couple documentaries about that are pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, those reenactments are something else, man. Those are something else. Cool, especially when they got the cannons going and everything.
Well,
that's why I love the movie Gettysburg, because did you see how many cannon they had firing?
Yeah, those are all reenactors, I believe, too, right?
Yeah, they're all reenactors. Yeah.
Some of them have the real gear and everything. Like they actually bought the real stuff from back then. And they were using it in their reenactments.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though. I love that show. Was it Dylan? No, who was asking? No, Andrew was asking about a good Civil War movie, and I brought up not necessarily a movie, but TV series, but still fantastic is Gettysburg and Gods and Generals.
Oh, those are wonderful movies. The soundtracks are good too, man.
I know.
Very, very well done.
Gettysburg, great acting. Just try to ignore the facial hair. I say that every time. I know, but yeah, just ignore that.
Well, these days you have to ignore the lack of blood too. It was made for TV, So
yeah. So you're not going to have as much blood. I think the most blood you saw was when General Hill was in the hospital, the field hospital.
Right. Yeah.
Man, I would do that too, man. If I was back east, I'd
for sure. Yeah, if I lived back in one of those areas,
I would say, hey guys, let's go meet up over here and let's go check it out. Absolutely.
Never gonna check out the
God, that would be so damn cool.
That one of my favorite authors, the Civil War, Kent Masterson Brown. He's got the best job on the planet. He just goes to all the sites, Chickamauga, Cumberland Gap. And he just sits there and he talks about it in his books and his documentaries. I mean, it's just wonderful. Beautiful country, man. Beautiful freaking country.
There's another YouTube. Hold on. Here's another YouTuber. Go check it out. It's Stuff Writer. What he does is I think he lives back east. And he will film the battle walks that they take on Gettysburg. And usually he's following, what's his name? His last name's Atkinson. I can't ever say that word. Atkinson. The guy is a fantastic ranger. Oh my gosh, man. Go check it out. Top notch. He will, he breaks that. And what he does, he walks people through the dam where the battle actually happened on Gettysburg.
Yeah, Dan, those guys live on the East Coast are spoiled with history, man. When I lived in Rhode Island for a bit, man, I went to the oldest tavern in the country. I mean, they have. I mean,
it's just all the history is back there. Don't get me wrong. There's history. I'm not saying
there's no history out here, but
it's different. It's a different type of history.
Right.
Gosh, man. It was awesome.
Newport,
right.
Rhode Island. I miss you sometimes. Not really. I'm just joking. Sometimes.
Who's that?
Newport, Rhode Island. Newport was kind of a cool little town.
All right,
That's
here,
where
give me a
all,
minute. I'm gonna go warm up my coffee.
right on. They used to have this. They used to have what's called Millionaires Row back in the day with all the old money, like the Vanderbilts and whatnot. They used to have Bellevue Boulevard, is what it's called, Newport, Rhode Island, and just one big mansion after another. I mean, these things are incredible looking. There was one. I mean, well, it's not just one, but there was plenty of these mansions. They were made out of imported Italian marble, and some of them you could actually rent out for. At that time, what was that? That was almost freaking 15, 16 years ago. You can actually rent out some of those mansions for like a few $1,000 a weekend or something like that. And they have also the Newport Auto Show there, where everybody's got the fancy old cars. Rhode Island's pretty interesting town. Outside of Newport, though, Providence is all right, and then north of that you got Fall River, which is a giant turd hole. Freaking Fall River, home of Andre Lagasse. Yes, the Italians do know their marble. That is for damn sure, man. Oh, hey, Nick, did you see the Odysseus thing? The damn lunar module fell over. What the hell is that about, man? We can't get it right, but the Indians got it right. They landed their module, no problem. Just seeing I thought that was a little hilarious.
All right, here we are.
How do you fix that?
All right, what do we got new in the world? Or do you guys have any other questions that we just talked about? I'm happy to answer anything that I can. If not, we can find it out together.
Right on point, Nick. You can't trust anything that's not made by them, really. I mean, within reason, obviously. Talking about
hey, Nick, speaking of SpaceX, they're starting to work on their second launch tower. Yep, they're building the second launch tower out there in Boca Chica / what is it? The heck they
Can we
call
go
it?
to freaking Mars before we die, please? I mean, can we do that?
But yeah, they're getting ready. They I don't know if you're familiar. I don't know if you're familiar with the launch pad, but they were showing pictures of it. Starbase, thank you. But that parking lot that they had out there by the suborbital tank farm, well, they had that parking lot out while they ripped out the asphalt. It's all dirt, and I guess that's where they're going to start building the second launch tower. And supposedly they sent a letter to the Army Corps of Engineers and said that they're going to resume construction on their second launch tower. So that should be interesting. That's going to be weird. I don't know how that's going to play in their launch cadence at the first tower. It's going to be interesting. I'm sure they'll work around it. They got some smart people knowing what they're doing over there. But yeah, I don't know when they're going to have that third launch, the third IFT. Hopefully it's soon.
Yes, please make it happen. I want to see this thing before.
They had Booster 10 and Ship 28. They had them stacked. They were trying to do a wet dress rehearsal. They had two of them. They had to stop both of them. They weren't able to get all the way through. Now they took the booster off, and Ship 28 is also off as well. Yeah, Booster 10. It was Booster 10. It got rolled back. It's back at the production site. Yeah, no worries. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm sure they'll get it figured out. But, let's see. Where are we going to go here? Where do I want to go? Let me take a gander here.
Oh yeah, Matthew, that Discord is full. I didn't realize how big of a 9/11 Discord that was. Oh man,
huh?
That's all I talk about in there, man.
Are you kidding me? There's a such thing as ice football.
Ice football.
Ice football?
That sounds like it would hurt, man.
I don't get it.
They're playing with an ice football?
The Giants are reportedly a finalist to sign former Dodgers utility man Kike Hernandez. Woo!
Oh man. God. Where's my excitement at?
We're still striking the Houthis. Must be tough.
Jim. Oh, that's right, Jim. Yeah, that's I was Matt Gates, man. Dan and I traded a few times, man. We made some pretty good deals.
Let's see what else we got in here. I'm always following. So I'm following a lot of damn people. Oh yeah, this is the anniversary of when Ukrainian war first kicked off.
Yeah,
Can you believe it's already been 2 years?
Isn't that amazing? Thought it'd be over in a couple of weeks, but people like their money, I guess.
Crazy, man. Crazy times. All right, let's see. What do we got? Wait, where's this?
Hey, what's up, Fosse?
Fosse out there?
Yeah, he is.
What's up, Fosse? Hey, thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it. Kike. Wait, what else we got? Is there... Huh.
Let's see what that episode. Excuse me. I had a moment of speech impediment there, also called as a stroke.
Also known as a... Yeah, there you go.
I'm just kidding. Oh, yeah, speaking of Ukraine. Oh, the Tucker interview. We did a show on that, actually, not too long ago.
What is it?
The Tucker interview.
Oh, yeah. Who was talking? Is someone talking about Tucker? Yeah. What did I think of the Tucker interview?
Was what it was.
Putin got what he wanted out of him. Yeah, Putin got what he wanted out of him. It's kind of whatever.
Oh, he's still getting it, too. The McDonald's tastes better over here. Okay,
it's so stupid. Look at the shopping. The shopping is fantastic here. I love being here in freaking.
Just be a reporter, dude. Like, we don't want your. Of course, it's gonna taste better. They know you're going in there.
Get out of here. The guy. Whatever. Whatever.
I mean, not only that, but what he's in Moscow, right? That's one of the richest places on the planet, really. Outside of that, it's nothing but poverty. But the actual city itself is pretty incredible. So, of course, yeah, you're seeing nothing but all the great stuff. You're seeing, cool, right on, bro.
Great
reporting.
Of course.
Go report for somebody.
And trust me, I guarantee you, Tucker was not allowed to leave a certain confine of Moscow. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. And the thing is, you got Putin filibustering with a history lesson, and you knew nothing. You should have studied up on some of that stuff to realize, hey, come on. You know, what you're saying is bogus. A normal journalist would be able to call him out. Now, don't get me wrong. A normal journalist, Putin probably wouldn't have had allowed.
Right.
I get it.
He chose his.
You chose that path, and you're going to have to unfortunately live with it. And you look at this. What happens after the interview? He kills Navalny.
Yeah. Kind of like a little middle finger to the face there, you know.
Did you notice? You know, was another thing. When else? What other event was happening during Navalny's death?
Oh shit!
What's going on?
Nothing. I'm good. I thought I heard somebody banging on the door for us. I'm like, I gotta go grab a gun real quick.
Or throw your steak at him. One or the other, right?
Throw my steak. Yeah. My new place out in Arizona. I got a view of the golf course in a mountain. I have nothing. I'm good.
You're good.
I got none of this going on around me.
Nice. But it was during the Munich security conference, if you noticed.
Oh,
I don't think that was an accident. I don't think that was an accident.
No. That was not a middle finger to the. All these moves are calculated. That's what these people do. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got a 12-gauge shotgun. Even better, man.
Even better. Can't go wrong with the shot. You don't have to aim, man.
No.
You can hip fire that thing and you're good.
I could close my eyes even. Oh, there we go. Gotcha.
But yeah, whatever. Well,
Ron, I agree with you 100%. Okay, I got your information from Dana, so I'll text you. I'll text you after the show. But yeah, man,
CIA asset.
Well, hold on. It goes a little deep. There are pictures of old Tucker Carlson out there in Iraq and whatnot. Part of the special operations group. No, it's not. No BS. Selling weapons and whatnot.
Yeah. North Korea. China, man. Whatever. That'll. If I wind up talking about that, we'll be here for another damn hour talking about this stuff. I don't want to go that damn long. Man.
North Korea.
Oh, I guess Trump won South Carolina today, right?
Well,
Like that was a
Do we expect anything less, man?
yeah. So it looks like it's going to be Trump versus Biden.
Well, I mean,
oh, man, what the hell? What the hell, man?
we want your tower too. Give us your tower. Give us everything. What a banana republic this country. I mean, I feel freaking ashamed to have served 8 years of my life in this military to defend this crap. Give me a freaking break, man. I mean,
oh, you know what I saw? God, do I even want to play this?
Oh yeah, Jim, I got the old. Yeah, I am. I'm ripping the old Rams colors on me.
Oh, you know what? I don't know.
To be honest, Jim, honestly, one of my favorite football players of all time is Eric Dickerson. That guy.
Eric Dickerson.
Holy crap, that guy was a stud. 6'3", can move like that. Are you serious?
Oh, Russians are still moving west, and I guess they took over Robotyne. Here we go. Here we can show this. This is what's happening in Ukraine right now. So much for oh, you're gonna go to the Rangers game tomorrow with Los? Awesome. Awesome. I think Kyle Harrison's supposed to pitch tomorrow, Dan. I think that's what I read.
Well, that should be interesting.
Check this out.
Давай сюда, заходите туда на улицу, блядь.
Zaporizhzhia up front.
Красавчики, блядь.
Look at that. That's their version of
Давай вот сюда заходите на эту улицу. Вот здесь ебашьте. Сюда ебашьте, блядь. Ебашьте сюда. Кто это тигр?
Oh, did you see a round go taken off?
Давай вот сюда в дом надо. Тут синее, сука, были.
Yeah, they're on the move.
Сюда заходите.
На восточную же идет.
Города. Блядь, сука, опасно близко, блядь, подъезжают.
А этот пошел, смотри.
Разбег, да.
Один на мира пошел, да? А второй на
Boom.
восточную.
Блядь, давайте, ребята.
Yep.
That's a harsh language, man.
It is.
It's pretty much what happens when you get drunk. You start talking like that.
Where is that one? I wonder if they got rid of it. They might have gotten rid of it. Because it shows a guy just getting obliterated by a grenade dropping on him.
Oh, crap. Hey, what's up, Kyle?
I mean, I'm talking obliterated.
Those little grenades, man, I tell you what, they're the most underwhelming thing to see, but they do pack a punch. Got a 25 millimeter, 25 meter kill radius.
Let's see what we got going on here. Hold on. Where's it at? I can't remember if I liked it or not, but I know where to go to get it. Wait, was it right here? No, that wasn't it. Here, hold on one second. Where's this guy at? Where the hell is it? Oh my gosh. Hold on. Just give me a minute.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you went to SMU, Dan? SMU made some pretty good players, actually. They used to have a pretty damn good team back in the day, too.
Wait, where am I going here? Let me go.
Maybe I had his
here we go.
His little goggles, his Horace Grant goggles. Guy was an amazing player. God.
Oh, I like this. Come on. This is pretty cool. I kind of like this. You guys agree? Not agree? Reagan, I didn't spend 2 terms destroying the USSR, so your Trumpy ass could lick the boot of an East German KGB agent. Oh, man. Look, we don't know. We don't know on a second term what it's going to be like.
Right.
We don't know. But I do not like the comments that he has made, for sure. Ooh, there we go. I like that one.
Well, man, it may not be him. Maybe even worse.
Oh, did I not have it? Where the hell is it, man? Was it up here? No, that was. Oh, where is he?
I mean, You know, Nikki Haley. I mean, she literally bent over for lobbyists. Literally.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean,
we don't.
they're
need,
all of them.
I mean,
all of them.
They're all scumbags. But I mean, come on. I mean,
all of them.
at least we know. At least we know what we're getting. At least we know what we're getting for Trump. You know, we know what we're getting.
Tell me, someone who's going to go out there and deliver. And and not sow division. I've gone off so many times on this. It's like, come on, man.
Well,
we're the United States of America. We're United States of America. We could do better than what we're doing right now. Oh, someone knock on your door?
No, there's a freaking dog down there. I can't wait to get the hell out of here, man. It's turned into a freaking ghetto.
Oh, here we go. Check this out.
Oh, that's one of my favorite planes right there. That is called
yeah.
Woo! Oh my God. Look at the Gullwing. I love that Gullwing.
Oh, there's nothing like the sound of a damn rotary engine.
Oh, dude, there isn't.
V12 is even better though. On the Merlin.
The
on
Merlin
a P51.
P51, yes.
Okay, how about this one? This is going to be a little bit more in today's standards here. Here we go.
Okay. F-15.
Oh, he's banking hard. Nice.
So for people who don't know, when you see that cloud come off, it's literally a cloud. That's air stalling and creating vapor in a cloud condensation.
Yeah, especially when you're in an area like Scotland, where that is.
Yeah, you had the same little thing when you went over there, right? You got to see F-15s fly over.
It was that same aircraft. Those are two F-15Es out of Lakenheath.
Right on.
Yeah, that's where they. Gosh dang it! I cannot find it. What, mother?
I remember seeing the F-14s over at the Reno Air Races.
Oh, F-14s, dude!
I did not realize how big they were.
They're huge, dude.
Are massive.
Massive, and how the hell they're able to do what they did? Woo.
They did. They had one come in low with its wings spread open,
and
it did one of those tight turns around the course there. I'm like, whoa, this thing looks like it's about 50 feet long. This thing is huge. It's not that big, obviously, but I mean, it's a massive aircraft. Oh yeah, cackling Kamala. Yeah. Farhan, his little Beavis laugh. God, I can't stand that prick either. I bet he might be a halfway decent dude in person, man, but that's not someone I would want running anything. Oh yeah, we're not united by any means. This is the most division I've seen in this country since I've been alive, and I know you've been along longer than I have, Dan. So where do we go from here? I mean, what's the cure for all this? I mean, is there one?
Oh, this is it. Oh, okay. All right, guys.
Future show topic: aircraft weaponry.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. Wait, what do we got going on? Nothing big. Okay.
So I heard back from my buddy Jeff.
Which one's that one?
173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team. So he will be back in about 2 or 3 weeks, he said, and we could go from there.
All right, cool, man.
So he's on assignment. He's actually he's still in the National Guard for the Texas National Guard, so he's on orders at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I take that in consideration. I don't want to get him in trouble.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I just told him to just talk about his experience and what he had going on in Afghanistan, and that's about it. Just kind of educate people. It's a lesser known battle, but it was one of the deadliest battles of the war that we had. I think
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up on that.
I think people
Yeah,
need.
'cause I'm
I
gonna
think
get
people need to know about that more. I mean, those guys sacrifice a lot. I mean, could you imagine 28 one platoon versus
taking on a battalion? Is that what it was?
550 of the enemy for
Whew.
9.5 hours by themselves before they got reinforcement? I mean, so they shot so many rounds out of their M4s that the barrels were warping.
Wow.
I mean, it's just freaking insane.
Oops.
That reminds you, Aaron, they used to have that show back then called Future Weapons with that whispering seal guy that what's that guy's name? Markowitz or something? He's dead now. He's been dead for a while. He died of brain cancer, unfortunately, but he used to have this pretty cool show called Future Weapons. Operations Room, yeah, I'm a huge fan of that one. I don't know how that guy does his production, but that is some cool stuff what he does. Operations Room, yeah, I highly recommend that channel. If you guys never heard of it, check it out. What's the other one? History March is pretty good. Invicta. I haven't watched them recently, Nick, but in the past, there's a few on there I want to watch. I know I want to watch this one on Black Hawk Down. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did one on the Iraq War. I saw it in my feed. 10th Mountain. Oh, you're muted. Oh wait, no, you're not muted. You're just your volume is real low.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I get for muting it. A Ukrainian serviceman had single-handedly held off 10 enemies while the enemy commander frantically ordered them to advance. Fighter from the 8th Separate Mountain Assault Battalion of the 10th Mountain Assault Brigade continued firing and throwing grenades at the enemies who are being taken apart by drones. Hold on. Intercepted radio comms shows the Russian commander attempting to control the situation, yelling, "Kill this one bastard. There's 10 of you." The Ukrainian came out of the battle alive and well. Check this out.
Он по вам стреляет или там кидает, а тут прям тут вход и закиньте к ним черемуху. А с другой стороны, блядь, с другой, слева,
That guy's over here.
Зайти просто тупо его расстрелять нахуй.
Yeah,
Как
that's the Ukrainian.
Значит, зайдите и убейте этого одного ублюдка, который сидит там в
Look at that.
блядь.
All these Russians and just him.
Спустился один и закинул, блядь, туда, где он прячется, блядь. И тогда птица вам ничего не сделает. У вас будет, блядь, где спрятаться от нее. Как поняли? Вы десятером в состоянии загандосить одного, который там спрятался, нет? Зайти сразу с нескольких сторон, блядь, а не ждать, пока на вас птички весь боекомплект кинут. Вы в состоянии это сделать? И не надо кричать, что вы все там. Это открытый прослушиваемый эфир, блядь. Есть, сука, другая балалайка. Кстати, вас один человек сдерживает, один. 10. И с разных сторон. Зайти, заползти, блядь, закидать там нахуй все, блядь, что внутри находится гранатами, блядь. Через крыши, через проходы. Вы не смеетесь, блядь?
Yeah, I can't show that one because that will be bad. You guys could go check it out though. But,
He's Sergeant Yorkton, man.
dude, you see that? Yeah, that right here. I think it's a wounded guy, but as soon as that grenade hits him, he doesn't. Let's just say he doesn't stay intact. We'll keep it there.
Oh, hey, I trained for that.
I don't want to, because I'll definitely catch a strike on that mother. There is no doubt about that. So if you guys want to check it out, go ahead. It's I can't remember what the hell it was. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure you guys will be able to find it.
You might check out Funker 532.
Yep, Funker. Yep, that's the guy I was playing the other night. Remember? And then I got bamboozled a little bit.
I'll have to talk to a Funker about that one.
No, actually, I don't know if that was Funker. That was someone else, I think, actually. I think
It wasn't
fine.
Funker. It was another guy. Yeah, Funker doesn't really flag his stuff. He's a He's a veteran. He's a cool dude. Don't give two rats butts.
All right. Oh, by the way, there's a couple of movies out there that are coming out.
Well, I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
watch. I'm watching Thanksgiving tonight.
You're watching who?
It's a new horror film that came out on Thanksgiving Day. It's on Netflix right now.
Oh, is it?
20
Days in Mariupol. Ooh.
Interesting.
It's kind of like, remember how I talked about Retrograde?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a document. I shouldn't say it's a documentary. Well, yeah, it's a documentary where they covered the assault on Mariupol. Remember early in the war? Pretty intense. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be for everybody. I think it's going to be pretty intense because I think a lot of it involves, civilians getting affected by this war. So
Right.
you might want to, just know that going in. Maybe take a look at the reviews, or maybe even take a look at the trailer. I looked at the trailer and I was like, wow, it's going to be something. I think there's another one out there coming out too. I think it's out, called Intercepted, and it's all the conversations that the Ukrainians have intercepted on the soldiers calling their loved ones back home. And some of the things they were saying about the Ukrainians, pretty bad.
It's like the 9/11 phone calls, huh?
Oh, no, it's more like, yeah, these guys are dogs. They should have known better. I'm glad that I shot women and children. I don't care. It's pretty bad.
Well, I've seen the videos of how they treat Ukrainian soldiers.
Yeah, it's bad.
They cut their balls off.
Yeah. And that's being lucky.
And they put them on pallets. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
And they stack their bodies, put them on pallets and stuff. They just leave them. They leave them in the town. They walk away from it.
Wow.
It's pretty gnarly stuff. Aaron, one of the best places to get content for Ukraine is actually an app called Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram.
But
yeah, Kyle, the meat. Oh, hold on one second. Let me go find that if I can.
Just be careful with that. There's what I mean by being careful with that is, I mean, you can, if you want to go down the gore road, it happens really quickly. So, hey, Makatna, Gigadeska, hope you're doing all right, my friend.
Some more kind of. Where is it? Where did I find it?
But yeah, on YouTube, check out Funker 530. He's been doing a lot of Ukraine coverage lately. He's a Global War on Terrorism veteran. I believe he was in the Army. He started the whole thing just shortly after the invasion of Iraq. Yeah, right. Huh?
Oh, I forgot about this quote.
Yeah, my Bachan taught me a little bit when I was growing up. Also known as my grandmother, for those who don't follow.
Thanks, Morkana. I appreciate it, man.
Obachan. Which reminds me, I got to call her. Shit. She called me the other day. I forgot to call her back.
Here we go. Great quote by President.
Oh, there it is.
President Ulysses S. Grant, not General.
Looking a little salty in that picture.
Yeah, just a little bit. He says, if we are to have another contest in the near future of our national existence, I predict that the dividing line will not be Mason-Dixon's, but between patriotism and intelligence on the one side and superstition, ambition, and ignorance on the other.
Well, hell.
How about that? Interesting. Wise words.
That's, there's been a lot of wise words, but do we learn? I mean, jeez.
That's the problem. No, we don't. That we don't.
We talk about it, right? I mean, everybody talks about it, but I mean,
everybody talks about it, but what happens? Nothing.
I mean, they quote, that's the most asinine thing too. They when they run their presidential campaigns or whatnot, they go on there and they quote these people. It's like, why don't you follow them? Why don't you do what they did? Maybe you'll learn from the BS.
That's the problem. People need to.
No, hey, no, Kyle, remember Ogrish? and Rotten.com. Those are the ones back in the early 2000s, man. They had that Battle Royale video that was just completely insane. The Pain Olympics. Ever watched that one, Kyle? Oh, man.
I'm trying to find the Twitter account so Kyle could check it out.
Ogrish.
Where is he?
Ogrish is gone now. Oh, yeah, Best Score. That was another one. Yeah. Yeah, Kyle, I think we would be pretty good drinking buddies, my friend. Oh, shit.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, man. Yep, yeah. Oh, man, worse than that. They were taking nails, too. The Pan Olympics one, they were doing I can't describe it on here. I shouldn't do that.
Here you go. This is the guy you want to follow. Right there. War Translated, Dimitri.
War Translated.
He's an Estonian-born blogger. He has
That's
quite a bit of
kind
good
of
information.
It's kind of an interesting country right there, Estonia.
Estonia. They're on the front lines.
I saw them on post a few times, wearing they have an interesting uniform, kind of a brighter green color.
So there you go. If you saw it, good. I'll leave it up there for a minute. All right, here. Now I can take a look at the chat. Sorry, I've been ignoring the chat. I've just been looking at to find out that stuff.
I've been entertaining them. Don't worry.
People taking Bob Hatters to their job. What?
Just see.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, see, while you were doing your thing, I was
Holy
doing
crap!
mine.
What the hell, man? I come back to this. What the hell? Is this? Ugh.
Oh shit! Don't give me the reins, man. We'll go with some
NorCal
water.
Sports doing fantasy baseball? I don't know, man.
Hey, we got a draft soon. It's coming up. We got a draft in March.
I don't know. I think that Northern Lights guy. I think is Northern Light. I haven't seen him. Was he on the chat? I don't think he was. I think he's interested. He's interested in playing.
Let's bring him in. Well, we got 10 people already, right? So we're good.
No, I think we dropped. I think. Did we? I can't remember. I have to look. Trying to get Dan in there.
Dan, join already, man. You know you want to.
All right, what am I missing here?
Yeah.
Oh, your Gore Gallery. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah. Kyle and I were we were reminiscing about our childhoods. The early days of the internet, man.
So military side, how can I find out where they show 2 sick planes and ask which one is your favorite?
2 planes, or which one's your favorite? How can you have just one favorite plane?
That's hard, man. It's hard.
There's so many good ones. I mean,
how many transactions did they Transactions, he exceeded 100.
120 or something.
Trades, I think it was 20,
Yeah.
21, 22, somewhere around there. But yeah, he did a lot of just transactions. Not enough. Look at it. He won the damn thing, and he's saying it was not enough. If you did more, you probably would have traded yourself out of the first place spot. I almost traded him freaking Joe Burrow. Literally the night he got hurt, he passed him up. It was crazy.
Oh, wait. Hold on. What are you looking for, Carl? 1 second.
They posted 2, and you had to pick between the 2 shown. Is it on Twitter? If it's on Twitter, man, it could be anywhere. Talking about the good old football fantasy.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't join Ryan's show.
That was crazy.
Hey, Truck took that one a little hard, man.
Yeah, what was that all about? I didn't understand that.
Nah, man. I've seen him in
I didn't get
Larry's chat every once in a while, but I haven't seen him. He never came back around.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It was weird.
Guess he got a little butthurt about the whole thing. Oh well.
I don't know why. It was
all done and dusted as far as I'm concerned.
well, weird. All right, guys. I think I'm getting ready to close this down. Here, let me start some music here. What do I got here? I'll go with this one. All right, cool.
Scott Boras.
Yeah, and Scott. The 4 is still out there.
I really, yeah.
The 4 is still out there.
Oh, they probably started the season with this still out there too.
Yeah, I know. The ones I'm not so worried about Bellinger as much as I would be Snell and Montgomery.
I'll tell you what happened
bet,
to
Ron.
Haruku. I'll tell you exactly what happened to Haruku, Aaron.
Yeah, what happened? Hiroku vanished.
He talked a lot of shit to me and Dan, and he got his ass whooped by me and Dan. And he hasn't been around since.
Yeah,
There you
he
go.
hasn't. That is true. It was that's when he stopped. Was after fantasy football.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was it. That was after he got smoked. That was it.
That was it. I think he thought he had it in a bag.
He was super cocky. He had a great team, and I would.
He had a great team.
Too.
Yeah, I mean, credit to him. He had a great team.
Probably one of the best teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what happened. So, what's up, Tom?
Tom is
Yeah,
on our
it's Tom.
side, Dan. Dan, you need to join. You'll regret it if you don't.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it should be a lot of fun.
Plus, there's money involved, man.
Hey, same to you, Nick. Man, thanks for
Take
thanks
care,
for showing
Nick.
up. I appreciate it, man. We'll definitely have to do an episode on SpaceX when they have IFT3.
Oh,
No
did you
doubt about
really?
it.
We're gonna got some smoke from
Roku
Oh.
roasted me in one of the comments I made on the Random Giants video.
No, it is what it is. He probably is under a different name or something. Well,
Maybe.
someone said that they saw him in the KNBR chat or something like that.
Yeah, someone was saying they saw him in KNBR a lot. So maybe that's
That's his new gig, man.
hey, that's all good. Whatever.
Yeah, it's all
all good. All right, guys. Hey, appreciate you guys showing up tonight. Talked a little bit more Civil War today. I love talking about that stuff. I think it was pretty good. We had a pretty good
Civil War is always
conversation.
fun.
I know it is. Love it. I probably won't come on again. Probably to midweek, like Wednesday or something around there. We'll see. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Tom.
Make sure you show up again midweek. That's probably going to be a later one for the simple fact, we'll have NorCal Sports Network. Then again, it all depends on the material the Giants give us. Now that spring training games have started, we could dig into a little bit on what's actually happening with the roster, I guess, and what's being produced out there. Granted, you take it with a grain of salt at spring training, but you still want to see something, right? You still want to see something. Jim Everett, I'm thinking Wednesday.
All right.
Again, if something crazy happens, then I'll kind of come on and have not an emergency show, but like if it's something big, we'll talk about it for sure.
Sounds good. Later, Makatna. Kabanwa. Have a good evening.
Dan. All right, guys. You can catch me and Dan every weekday, Monday through Friday, 8:30, NorCal Sports Network, where we're talking Giants baseball. What a rush. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll do that on NorCal on Monday. How about that? I'll do it on NorCal on Monday. Absolutely. No doubt about it. All right, guys. Topic. I don't know if I'll have a topic. Maybe I'll think of one. If not, then I'll figure it out. But yeah, just look for me Wednesday night. Probably guessing around maybe 10:30 Pacific, somewhere around there. I know it's going to be kind of late. I know Matt, he sent me a nice message talking about space Force. That's weird. That's a little bit weird.
They have a damn recruiting center just down the road here, man.
Oh God! Remember the damn uniforms? We'll bring up the uniforms. Remember the
I
uniforms?
should go in there. I'm like, hey, you guys.
The Star Trek uniforms. Oh God, that was
You
so
guys recruiting?
bad. God, that was so bad.
Oh yeah.
You remember?
The weird ass quasi
weird-
chef
hold on.
uniform.
Come on.
Yeah, we
hold
got
on.
we it's not doing this job. We got to show the picture. There's
Oh.
no way we could do this without showing the picture. My God, could you imagine wearing that thing? I mean, you wouldn't feel good about yourself. I'd be afraid I could get my ass kicked if somebody steal my damn money wearing that damn thing.
Oh.
I mean, it is terrible.
Hold on.
It looks
save.
like a weird ass Star Trek chef's jacket, man.
Oh, it's so bad.
Uh, who the? All right. Why? Just stick with the Air Force uniforms, damn it. We already. It's
Why
part.
did
It's
they
the
just
same.
stay in the Air Force?
It's the same branch, isn't it? I mean, right?
Yes, exactly. Air Force, whatever. If it's been space, it's still
If it's
Air
space,
Force.
it's the Air Force, exactly.
You didn't need.
I mean, holy shit!
Look
I
at
mean, these are the worst looking things I've ever seen. Look at this pile of. Look at this junk, man. Oh my God! Looks like you know what? He looks like about to serve dinner on a damn Amtrak or something.
That looks so freaking bad. Bad.
And why are
That's
they wearing
garbage.
BCGs? Why are they wearing BCGs of all things too? I mean, come on.
Oh God, that's so bad, man. Look at that. Look at the stripes on the Chief.
Okay,
That's
so
a Chief Master Sergeant. That's an E8, man.
okay, let me ask you
Actually,
this,
no.
Eric.
Sorry, E9.
What happens if I don't see a name on this guy, so I just call him?
Yeah.
Do I see?
And
just call him
supposedly,
Chief?
you know where
Good
the name
morning,
badge is?
Chief.
It goes underneath the ribbons. Hold on.
Oh
I'll
no!
find another one. Hold
No.
on. Yes.
No.
Yes. Where's it at?
What is this? That one dude's way too big. I mean,
Guy on the left, yeah, he's the 4-star.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's got his own cook. That's why. I mean, oh my God!
Oh, that's so.
What's with the stripe on the legs? I mean, we do that in the Army, but that's for like back
It's
in
never
the.
been like that in the Air Force.
The reason why we have it in the Army is because the Civil War days, the yellow stripe designated an NCO or an officer.
Right, there is something behind it. For the Air Force, there ain't nothing behind it. I don't know what it is. Hold on.
Yeah, may the Schwartz be with you indeed.
Here we go with the.
That's a great freaking movie, by the way. Schwartz.
See?
Oh, Jesus.
And look, it's crooked. It's crooked. It's not even flush with the ribbons.
Because, of course. Whoa, there's
This
like
guy's
no.
this guy has it a little bit straight.
Oh, and
This is
MSM, huh?
horrible, man. This is straight out of Star Trek.
What's the point of that collared shirt?
Look at the emblem.
That is
That's Star Trek, man.
That's freaking Star Trek, dude.
Even these badges.
Oh, wait, so you guys wear your unit awards in there, too? Wow.
MSM. Ooh, what is it? I think that's a NATO. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
a
joint.
NATO
That's
achievement?
I
That's
think
commendation,
that's a joint service award. I think it's a joint
basic
service.
training, expert. That is. I can't remember if that's the long or the short tour. National defense, global war on terrorism,
No deployments, and she's got a BSM.
outstanding unit award.
Wait a second. Hold on now. I don't. No deployments, but she's got a BSM.
Hey, what?
She's got. That's a Bronze Star medal there, right? No.
Right here? No,
what
I think
is
that's
that? What is
Meritorious
that?
Service.
What is that
I don't
below
know.
the?
I can't remember what that one is. It's
What
been
is
too
that
long.
below the achievement medal or the accommodation medal?
Here's this one. I think it's an Air Force Organizational Excellence or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That looks real close to like a BSM. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
How come
here?
I don't see good conduct medal? Do they have those anymore? Maybe they got rid of those.
Oh. we still got them.
Whatever, man.
Oh shit! Wow. You know what? I'm glad I'm not in it anymore. I'll just say that.
It's. I don't get it. Anyways, yeah, we can get into that another time for sure. What's up, Shardall? We're getting ready to get out of here, man. All right.
Call by his pronouns, not his rank. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Oh! By the way,
Oh, shit.
last year when I had to get a new ID card,
Mhm.
when I called the Navy guy, what was it that he said?
Oh no.
Oh, it was
Shardall.
weird.
About to go. Yeah,
He literally said, "Hi, how can I help you?" He, she, some of them. He named off all the pronouns when he was acknowledging me. That's everything. And every time I called, that's what they always said. Every time.
in the Navy.
It was weird, dude. It was weird.
There's no more good morning, sir, ma'am. How may I help you?
No, it's everything.
Good morning, sir, ma'am. They, them.
It was really weird. I was like, what is this? But,
Oh,
all right, guys. Until the
All right.
next one, we'll have some fun on Wednesday. Don't know what the topic's going to be. Just be looking for it. Like I said, around 10:30 Pacific, somewhere around there. Until then, thanks, Will. Appreciate it, man.
yeah, man.
And
Have
we'll
fun.
get into the next one. Thanks again, you guys, for showing the support. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.
Later, dudes.